You tell me that you need me in the dead of the night, the dead of the night. It's only to see me and my worried mind, my worried mind. If you take my shackles off, I'd see you're just a heartbreaker, a heartbreaker. What you do to me, heartbreaker, heartbreaker. What you do to me, baby, please. Please. And everybody's talking about how you did me wrong, you did me wrong. And every lie you told, babe, it's gonna come undone, gonna come undone. And when I throw you to the curb like an old bird cigarette, you see, you're just a heartbreaker, heartbreaker. What you do to me, heartbreaker, heartbreaker. What you do to me, and take me out of my misery. You got me burning up inside. I'm suffocating on all your light. You're just a heartbreaker, heartbreaker. Said what you do to me, heartbreaker, heartbreaker. Oh yeah, you're just a heartbreaker, a heartbreaker. Oh, what you do to me, heartbreaker, heartbreaker. And I'm running around my mind just wondering where you've been. And everybody's talking like I'm gonna see you again. You're just a heartbreaker. Oh, oh, oh. You're just a heartbreaker. A heartbreaker.
Yes, yes. His heart, that's the Dirty Honey with his Heartbreaker. That's the song. Please, can you guys go listen to Dirty Honey? I love this band so much. They're just excellent band, man. They rock. I love them to death. They're just good rock stars. They're awesome looking, extremely handsome, the way I like it, perfect. Plus, they just rock, and they just like cool white people. I mean, the kind of white people who just love life. And we want more of that, okay? We want white folk who love human life, human beings, not those think tankers, the neocon, those degenerates. We want people like Dirty Honey in the world. Now, a lot of black folks don't listen to this kind of music because in America, this is a racist country, and music typically is based on the race. I don't subscribe to any of that or sort. It is repulsive because you cannot force me to listen to black music that I just don't like. It won't happen. But I love human music, and I just love all of it. Because, hey, I'm acculturated through the Western thing. I tend to fall on rock and roll by and large, right? So that's why you can see something like this, because I just love the band. And I listen to music like that. And I marry a music aficionado, which is David Augustine. He just love it all of it. Now, he is not into pop, stuff like that. He's just not into that. And I think he has a reservation with, I would say, the typical stereotype you would think of black people music. I do have to say though, speaking about black music in U.S., younger white folks are the audience of the so-called black music. And sometimes not very leftist black folks think they need to preserve that just for them because, hey, we need to preserve our black culture, which in itself sounds very racist. There is no such thing as black culture. There is Western culture, as far as I'm concerned. The things that we got in U.S., they call black and white, are just white supremacy culture by and large. That's just how I see it. But there's a lot of stuff that come within the experience of human beings that's just universal, and we should all engage with all of that, despite my reservation on what's what. Because you know what? It's just a lot of music on planet Earth that we do never hear because it doesn't germinate in the white supremacy land like U.S., right? And that some of it is what I consider black, but we never hear of that. For example, there's black people in Lebanon. I don't know what those people sing. I think they sing some of this for sure. But maybe there's something that's local within Lebanon that I would be interested in, but they don't let me have it. So that's that. Now, I told you I am a leftist. I already tell you. This is Monica. Hey, I didn't say my normal good morning type of thing. Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Monica, your friend Monica. I already told you I'm a leftist. And I'm not just a leftist, okay? Like people, like the right wingers would say, a Democrat. I'm not that kind of leftist. I'm not the kind of leftist that some Democratic Party will call progressive. Not that kind of leftist. I am a correct leftist. Meaning that it's hard to find a leftist like me, more or less. That's just what that is. It's very difficult. It's a French, okay? I'm a French. And I'm in a politics French because I want the better world. And in the capitalist rule, white supremacy, their mission every day, every second of life is to make sure any of that, like my correct leftist, does not germinate, no matter what. It got to be crossed by any means necessary. Right? That's what it is. So it's just not many leftists. A lot of things that you hear about leftists, they're not leftists. They are what we in the leftist world we call control opposition. Right? It's something white supremacists need a background of sort to throw their ideas or to so they can feel like this is we have a sphere of ideas where people can compete and stuff like that, right? It's good for them, not for us though, not at all. Because for us correct leftists, we wish they don't even exist so we can concentrate to tell the public how we really feel about things. Like, let's turn this shit to communism. But that's not how it goes. But nevertheless, we're going to keep with this going. Now, if you remember yesterday, actually, before we do, I had to tell you something about the world, right? What's happening in the world, okay? If you remember, I have been telling you something that there's problems. The white supremacists that rule this world, and the Washington, D.C., right? And some other white supremacist houses in Europe, Australia, Canada, or something like that, they have decided that worst people, right, the whole planet, which is the majority is non-white, right, they have reduced us to something that is human for sure, but it's this strange human that's always in connection with death, right? They have take the fundamental human stuff you're supposed to preserve and adhere to, right? Like, for example, you don't supposed to kill a human with impunity. That's supposed to be illegal, flat out. It's just illegal. But for them, that's totally what they do, okay? So we, the people of color, mainly outside the white countries, like I call them, Western countries, Europeans, uh, like Israel, Australia, maybe Canada, US, that sort of thing. If you are a person of color, that's what you are, right? I don't care if you say you're Cuban, I don't care if you say you El Salvador, whatever country you live in as this person, right? That's what you are. So if your state is not literally just taking orders from Washington, D.C., you will be reduced. You could be unalive and left this world at any moment. That's what you are. So you're always in connection with death. Consistently. That's just what you have become. So I told you that about that. And then I'll tell you something else. I forgot what episode. That when it comes to white degenerates, right, the U.S. state, they have a program in place that they need to get rid of all the Marxist countries. And I told you what those Marxist countries are. Now, if you don't remember, you can go back and find that out. But I'm going to just tell you one of those countries is Cuba. Now, Cuba is in a small island. It's close to Miami. And Cuba had my idol. His name is Fidel Castro. Is a communist country or socialist country, right? This country has a lot of black folk. And these black folk are just like the black folks you have here, right? The black folk in U.S. Except these black folk in Cuba have more rights than the people here, the black folks here have rights. They have, like some rights, I guess, a little, but I mean, some rights, some constitutional rights. But white supremacists, when it comes to black folks' rights, they just, let me just cavalier with those rights. So it depends. If it's inconvenience to enforce these rights, they'll just do it, okay? They'll just take care of the issue, right? Not just black folks, but other marginalized people, including white folks who does not fall in line, like my brother-in-law, Minor Cato, Tom. So that's that. So Cuba is a small island, and it's completely blockade, meaning it can do business with any other country like a healthy country should to thrive in this society. Because no society, at least majority of society, cannot be full reliance on themselves. Because for modern civilization, we need things like oil and other things that we should be able to trade with other countries to have a civilization, in a normal way. But Cuba is deprived of that. They've been deprived of that for a very long time. Because for white degenerates, what they want to reduce this place, it's basically like Cancun, Mexico, where we recently, me and my husband went to vacation, where you don't see any Mexican unless they are working. This place is basically fancy resort, fancy everything, and no locals, so to speak, no locals there. And You just go there, enjoy your life, right? So that's one of the things that they want to do with this place. Moreover, Cuba is a bad idea on planet Earth. It is a revolutionary, and I mean the real thing. It's the kind of place where they have shitload of doctors, and they send them a lot around the globe to help poorest people, let's say Africa, who need medical care, because majority of countries in Africa don't have medical school, don't have real medicals. Even if you're a doctor, say in Equatorial Guinea, they're not gonna pay you, and you don't like that. So you're gonna do everything you can in your power to wind up in Paris, so you can be a doctor in Paris, so you'll get paid better, and life will just be better for you. So, but in Equatorial Guinea has about this time 1 million people, and those million people get sick like all of us sometimes, and they need doctors. So Cuba will send a doctor like that. Now for white degenerates, that is a no-no. We can't do that, because for them, the less Equatorial Guinean, the less white black folks in that country, the better for them. So they need to make sure that Cuba stop doing that, okay? Because apparently for white degenerates, Africa is overpopulated. And I mean, they think this way, okay? And you can read the think tank papers and shit. And you can also follow these, what I call think tankers. This is how they feel about Africa. They just feel like this place has too many human beings, black folk, and that is a threat to us. We need to do whatever we do to consistently reduce that shit, okay? So Cuba does that. Cuba also does another thing when, let's say in Congo or some other place, they're trying to invade that country, and Cuba will be there. At least it used to be like that when Fidel Castro was in place, and send the Cuban soldiers, because Cuban soldiers are straight up badass. If you don't believe me, just read some of the shit online about how they protected Nicolas Maduro. Okay, they just the badass. Now you'll think that no, this is not a badass. The badass are the special forces who come in those helicopter, right? And got the oil stuff. It was all these angles. Those are the badass. That's really badass. The special forces and U.S. military. And I will tell you, no, those are cowards. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's disgusting. Remember, these are the kids that were raped by the white degenerates so they could be like that. Thugs. Okay, that's what I would tell you. But I will tell you the Cuban soldiers at it. That's it. That's my cup of tea, right? So Cuba also does that. And you know, if you know white degenerates, you know they don't like that. Why I'm telling you all this about Cuba? Well, it's because I'm telling you what's happening in the world today. So yesterday, I went on Twitter. Now, I haven't been concentrating too much on Twitter on my leftist stuff. I am a leftist. I need to be informed about everything and what's happening. Now, much of what's happening right now is extremely depressing. Now, as a leftist, I'm always depressed about the state of the world, because I'm inhabit a world that's just not leftist at all. And that's just not an unusual thing for me. But right now, it's just extra depressing. Extremely depressing. I mean, they are just white degenerates in Washington, D.C. was accusing Panama with this thing about they stole the Canadian canal or some shit. Now they straight up stole it. That's that. Venezuela is now their property, right? And now Cuba is having crisis to the point they are begging, according to right-wingers online. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just not going to put my heart into it and trying to find out more, because that in itself sounds like it may be true, and it's just too depressing. And again, I'm trying to preserve myself, like I told you the other day. David wants his wife, and he wants his wife alive and healthy and happy. So I'm not going to find that out. But I do want to say that Cuba is in crisis designed by the white degenerate. Why is that? Because, first of all, white degenerate has said nobody can give Cuba oil or anything. And I mean, nobody. Now, they've been having blockade the whole time. But this time, they used to get stuff from Venezuela because Venezuela has oil, right? Venezuela is in continental area. Cuba is an island, okay? They can't do that. Mexico also do something with Cuba, but now it's supremacists also are telling Mexico not to do it. So Cuba is all this vulnerable there, left to fend for itself, with a bunch of black folks there that were coming from the margin to the thing, and now they want to convert this thing like Cancun, Mexico, and I don't know what they're gonna do with the black folks there, and I just depressing the fuck out of me. So that's what happened in the world. Now that I said all that, we're gonna go to a family play. I think we spoke a lot yesterday about family. I introduced everybody. I mean, basically, everybody in my family, Augustine family, is already in the play. Everybody doing their thing, right? More or less. But I want to bring you back to an episode back. I think that's episode 11. Okay, I'm going to say episode 11. And you can watch that. But I want to bring something to your attention. Remember, my goal is to have a productive kind, a good white folk. That's just what I would like, okay? I just want white folk who would question Republican Party leaders, the decision-making there. And they can just reconsider this whole idea of turning U.S. a ethno-state of sort, or Christian fascist or shit. I don't know. But I think that's what according to the Project 2025 or something like that, that's the direction that U.S. want. That's their goal. That's what they would like. They are doing something called, like, for example, destroying the administrative state, right? And if you remember, for example, Donald Trump, right, the orange degenerate, some of the people who brought him to the public sphere in the political realm, those are the real thinkers. Those are the ideas they want. They just want U.S. to be this country that is a Christian, is white, and it doesn't have administrative state. I think for these people, they would like to do something with the Constitution where we don't even have the Bill of Rights. Get rid of them, because that's just not what white people should be doing. Rights for these other strange looking people, dark, not a thing. And so that's bad, okay? That's genocide, essentially. We can have genocide. As we can see in Palestine, genocide is terrible. It's horrible. It kills children. It kills women. It's ugly. It's destructive. Let's not do that, right? So I'm trying to help my Republican family here to reconsider some of their proclivities, like declining to go to a holiday, or a vacation in Europe and UK, because now UK is no longer these strange looking white folks who have bad teeth. Not only them, they all have other people that look. That's not what I want. I want them to be egalitarian. Hey, how about that? Some egalitarian sort of people. So now that I said that, I want to bring you back to a conversation that I elicited in episode 11, where my husband got a phone call from his brother, the minor character, also known as Tom, my brother-in-law. And that conversation been percolating in my mind. Because if you remember, he called my husband. He told him that he heard about he's gonna get married, okay? And he does what a Republican brother would do. He has to help his brother because it looked like his brother may make a mistake, right? He's gonna marry this Bronny, all right? I know you've been with her for a while, but you need to make sure you take a piece of paper somewhere, write something down, stamps, quotes, and stuff, right? To protect yourself. And then he said something else that I didn't discuss that day. And when my husband was like, okay, and then he's like, you had to do it for your kids, these two girls. Now when he said that, I was like, I told you, if you don't know my personality by now, you should do. I was disgusted, annoying, and I said something to the effect that this is not how I expect black folks to behave, so to speak. Meaning, they don't behave like black folks because us, we read and we intelligent. And we read Dr. Robin Kelly, a renowned professor at UCLA, right? He told us about his father's story, right? Where he had multiple wives, he kidnapped his kids, he stuff. He just do a lot of crazy stuff. He take the airplane to Africa because he was running away from the law. That sort of thing. That's what I expect a man to be. Oh, okay. Let's use that word. Man. That's a man behavior. Okay. They don't behave like that. These Republican men, you guys are different. And I'm just gonna follow this stuff. So when he did that, my husband then wasn't buying it. He said, no, this is what I want, and this is it. Sorry. I know you care about me, but that's not my thing. And later, I complained to my husband like you would expect a correct leftist to do about stuff. I say, hey, I don't like this guy now. I used to like him. I just like him less, right? And my brother was like, Monica, don't be like that. He's just my brother. He's trying to help me out, right? And my husband said something else. He said, like, you have to understand his position. He's not going through a divorce with the Shana girl I told you about. And it seems like that thing is not working the way he expected. Because for this dumb guy, he do like wives, apparently. He likes wives, right? He's going to the second wife. But when you marry, right? Apparently for this Republican, they didn't know that it's a unit. And if you marry in America, you have to support your wife whether you want to still be with her or not, right? So it seems like the Shana woman is going to take some of his money or property or something, and he don't like that. Because for him, it shouldn't go to Shana with her two kids, right? All right. It should go to his three boys, Max, Aiden, and Rocco. That's what he starts to go. Not to Shana and her two cute daughters. Now, when my husband said that, I'm like, that's not right, okay? It's simply not right. These Republican people, they need to start acting like that. They're just not right, all right? Now, I just don't understand this. This is just seem not right. We're supposed to know that Republicans tell us black folks we need to be about family. Be good family members. That's not a good family member, okay? It's just not. Now, I don't mean that those gold digger women who go look for the oldest man, like Nicole, the celebrity who went and married a 90-year-old because he was extremely wealthy and he knew he would die in a few days and leave him the wealth. Not like that. I don't like that either, right? That's bad. But that's to be expected in capitalism. That's to be expected. But if you marry a wife, right, or a husband, either way, either of them, it doesn't matter, and something goes south with your marriage, right? In my opinion, you should not want your ex-wife or ex-husband to be on the street, right? And wind up in that, like Monique Cook in her case, she did not get I want to say, a bed at the shelter in that freezing day. There was no bed for her. She was 53 years old, and she froze to death because she was homeless. Now, according to studies, majority of women in U.S., first of all, we just overrepresent in poverty. That's the majority of women, especially women of color. Right? Now, single white women, by and large, make way more money than single black women. I think the single white women, we have like the net worth like $5 or something like that. Don't quote me. I haven't been looking into this stuff yet lately. But people call it, we just poor. We just poor because the dominant culture is white folks, and they distribute the resources, and it's just how it works. But women in general just make less money than men, okay, for whatever reason. Right? Now, not all women, obviously, women are doing good, but they would never catch up. That's just, I don't think, not on the capitalism. I just don't see how women will ever pass men. Now, not across all the demographics. I think that, I don't know what's going on with black folks. I think black women are doing better than black men. I don't know. Let's just put that on the side. But nevertheless, women are just poorer, I guess. Right? They're just poorer. And Shana, although he's not the mother of his sons, Shana is a mother, and she had 2 kids. Now, Shana, oldest daughter now, is independent. She's independent. And she has a younger daughter. But I think that girl, too, is becoming an adult. But that was his ex-wife. And she was living in this big, beautiful house in Wisconsin with him and his whole family. So now she lived in this lifestyle. And I don't think she was working. And maybe she was working with him or what have you. And so I would expect a good Republican citizen, right, to do right by his ex-wife. Let me say that, right? Just make sure Shauna is taken care of. Give her what she wants. I don't agree that she should try to take every dime that Tom ever have, but it shouldn't be a reason why you would call my husband because you not feel bad about women or something. I don't know. Because, hey, this is America, and that's what a man's supposed to do. Even if you go broke, let's say that. Even a man go broke because he been multiple marriages like most black men. That's, for me, as far as I'm concerned, that's the man's job. That's capitalism. That's capitalism. I just want my family here to think this through. Right? Now, he wants stuff for his 3 boys. And he just, at this point, because Shanna had done what she needed to do, now she left, she now don't care about those other girls. And he cared about 3 boys. That's what I'm talking about, okay? I feel like that's not a good person, for my opinion. Because if you love your children, your 3 boys, and you want to be a good dad, right? Exemplary father for Haydn, my favorite, I think you should try to be honorable to your ex-wife. Now, I'm not saying he's mean to it. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of this, okay? Just work with me. Whatever Shana takes from him, for example, is not a waste, not at all. Shana will live comfortable, even though she's depressed now in this place. And she'll have a place, even though she's alone and his kids move out, the kids will be able to go there and see her and she'll feel dignified. Now, like most of us, maybe Shana, they don't have a job that will have this defined benefit that I discussed about, or sure don't have this defined contribution. If you don't know what I'm talking about, those things, go back one of my episodes. I forgot which one. But you have improved Shana's life, essentially. So you didn't waste anything, right? That's what I'm talking about. You have to think more than just your family, right? That's what I'm talking about. This is not just you want your family to be good. You got to think about more than your family. Because when you do that, to me, you are a real man, okay? You are a real man. Maybe that's how black men are, and maybe people look down on that kind of ethos, but I have so much respect for that, right? Because, hey, I was my lady, and she now don't want me, fine. What you want? Okay, take it, good, let's buy. I'll find me another one, and whatever she does, if they want him, usually men, black men, they'll have multiple wives. They don't have problem picking women because they're charismatic, they're good looking, or what have you. I don't know what that is, but whatever that is, women just like these men because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not the kind of woman that will be interested in a man who had multiple marriages, but women like them. That's human nature, right? That's just human nature. Women like them, and it's all good, right? I don't. Dr. Robin Kelly may disagree with me because obviously he didn't like his father. I think he disliked him for more than one reason. But for me, I feel like that's an experience of black men in general. A man that is oppressed in our group is a man that is not white supremacist who just can make decisions like that. They do what they can do. It's not good, but it's what they can do. So that's just how I see that. Now, going back to this dumb thing, and he feeling bad about himself and wanted to leave things to his children instead of Shana taking that, and maybe Shana will leave those things to her kids. This is how I look at this. Now, all these people, if you remember, I already told them, they are Republican voters. They are all Republican people, right? Yeah, it didn't go to your cute Max and, what is it? Max, Rocco, and Aiden. It didn't go to them, fine. It went to Shana. But it'll go to Shana daughters. And you have improved that family forever, in my opinion, or some more or less, right? Now we have one less family that will be on food stamp that you guys don't like paying, right? That's just how I see it, right? Like if you want to keep this thing going and you just don't want public services, but you get into the human nature of marriage and stuff and things don't go your way, but at least that's one white family that's not going to be struggling. In this case, Shana. Shana is just off the food stamp and she's now independent because her ex-husband had transformed her life. Now her life is dramatically improved, right? As for my beautiful babies, his sons, I don't think he has too much to worry. Not at all. I don't think. These are good kids. These are hardworking kids. For example, they have a mom, Karen, and she's remarried, and she lives in this beautiful farm area with chickens in the back, and just very angelic. And she married another man. I don't know the situation with that man, if he do have other kids or something, but I don't know. That's besides the point. And Karen too, is thinking about his children. So the way I see it, Tom children are privileged by and large. They just are privileged children. They're not like my kids, for example, who my oldest two kids, their father is in prison, right? And he, even if he gets out, I don't know the prospect that he could ever leave them something of value is at play, right? So that's that. And for my youngest two kids, their father too is also, he's not like Tom or Karen or anything like that. So they're not gonna really inherit anything. And for me, there's 50-50 chance they may, if my husband something left in our bank account, which if you go by my desires, I don't think much would be left because I want to spend it in me and David's life like we're supposed to. So that's the kind of thinking I want these people to do with me, okay? Just instead of, like he was saying, think about families. This is how I think about families. I just think about families like that. I don't think that is anything wrong with any possession that my ex-husband or my husband or whatever could ever take for me. That's not a waste because that is my ex-husband. He gave me something that is important to my well-being, to my development, for what have you, okay? And so that's what I'm talking about here. I don't want him to feel that he is not a good Republican, a good father. As for these two girls that he was worrying about my husband leaving them stuff, one of the things I just want these people to know is this. The most important thing you can give your children, in my opinion, especially in capitalism, and the Republican tell us a lot about this. I mean, if you black and you know a thing or two, you know Republican Party don't want you on food stamp. They do not want you on Section 8, meaning you shouldn't be going to this place where you ask them if they can reduce you can pay a discount rent, right? And they put you on this list for 30 years that you never get into, but the stigma doesn't go away because cute white folk will be like, those people, they're black. It's more than one of them. It look like this area is Section 8. So that's the stigma. They don't like that stuff. They just don't want like social services for folks. What they want you to do is be about it. Work. Have 4 jobs. Right? And busy with work. Don't think about politics. You don't do that. Just work. Don't even register to vote because we white folks will take care of that. And once you do that, make sure you don't wind up homeless because if you're homeless, then they will be disgusted because you own this place and the way where they're trying to pass and they don't, it's unpleasant to see homeless. So they don't want you to do that either. So you just have to make sure you figure that out. They call it pull yourself by the bootstrap. Now, why they're doing saying that to us, the black folk, brown folks, non-white folk, they are doing this thing for their children, right? That's what they're doing. I don't like that, and you can tell. So, what I want white folks to do is for them to stop doing that. And ask the children, hey, this is the system. Learn how to work the system like you're supposed to, all right? Learn to pull yourself by the bootstrap. And that brings me down to Haydn, my favorite, my baby. I love him to death. So one day in the aunt's house, that day where I had the kumbaya with Power Attorney Christine because she was concerned about these 2 girls. Haydn did something that, again, makes his aunt happy. Hi, I love my baby. He said that, and he got married to this beautiful girl, Rose, that I already talked about. And he he's young. He's young. I don't know how old is Aiden. I think he is younger than he's the second kid. So he's young. He's younger than all my 4 kids combined. Alright? He is young. So but he got married. He did something adults that we should be for adults thing, and I like that because it just shows that he's responsible. Some people disagree with young people getting married because they don't know what they're doing and stuff. Maybe that's the case, but I feel like some young people can do it and it's totally fine. I married what I consider young, and to me it was a good experience. I mean, it was mixed experience. Obviously I got divorced, but it helped me. I think it helps me overall. Okay, I'll put that. Even though it didn't work out, it just helped me be who I am today, that marriage. So that's that. Well, we end this thing. So he was talking about why he got married and stuff, and about why he married Rose and stuff. And he just say, I did it because although he has his father Tom, who I think has enough money to give him to, because he's going to university, and I think um, Tom can pay for it. I don't know. I'm just guessing that part. I may guess a little bit, but the bottom line is this: when he go to school, and then I know because I have 4 kids and they all go to school, and that's how it is. You fill the paperwork, and then they ask for your parents' income. That's what it is. Now, your parents are not obligated to pay it. They're not. They're really not. But this is capitalism, and this is this evil thing we're working with. They count that against the children, right? On the one hand, parents are not obligated to do it, although middle class white folks, they do it because they want their kids to be educated. They want them to they want to help their kids, and and typically middle class folks, they have instruments they do, so that's not even an issue because they took care of that issue long time ago, like savings. Something there was no way I could have do it. I don't even have a retirement, so that's not something black folks, poor folks, we can even think about. We lucky if we not on the streets. So that start with Aiden. So he filled the paperwork, and he just like, they ain't gonna demand this of my father. And he's really not obligated, but he'll probably do it. And this is what I mean by why I love this kid. He just seemed thoughtful and responsible. And so he calculated, okay, I have this girlfriend, this perfect girl, Rose, and I love her and everything. So, yes, I love her and I can marry her without this, but I was also one of his calculation. I think this is a good idea. So he figured, I'll marry Rose. And once you marry Rose, that automatically make you independent, okay? And now, when he filled the paperwork, they're not gonna bother his father, right? About these things, about asking him about his tax return and all his money, all his assets and stuff like that. And now the school can give Aiden A so he can finish his engineering degree in school. When he did that, I saw something I love to see in parents. Tom was proud. Tom was happy. He was smiling. It's the kind of minor cat, the way I like to see parents. Now, I'm sure for one of them is, I don't have to worry about paying for that. But I like to think that was more than that. He was just like, oh, my kid just did something impressive. He just did something that parents, we would like to see. Right? And for Republican Party, they do not like food stamp. They don't like Section 8s and stuff like that. this is similar to that kind of thing, right? And this is just the system. And Aiden knows that I don't have money. Even if I work, it will never be enough to give these over the top tuition and everything. But this is the system, and he learned it. I don't think his father taught him this. I don't think his mother taught him. Maybe they did, I don't know. But he did it. And I just like to see that. And maybe, just maybe, because this is how it works, Aiden will be more open to facilitate another kind of arrangement where it can help young people, okay, who may be not as fortunate as him, because I do think he is fortunate. He has a mother. I saw her house. I don't think that woman struggled at all. He has his father who take planes, he's first class, and I don't think he struggled either. But despite of that, he that's a man, in my opinion. He acted like a man. And that's what I am talking about. I just want my family to think about all families, all children, even children they don't care about, like Shana children, or my kids, or anybody else's kids, or the kids in the ghetto. I want all children to have experiences like this. I want them to want children to develop that kind of sentiment like Aiden. Now, Aiden don't know I noticed that, but I did. So overall that day, even though Christine did what she did and we got into an argument, that was such a nice encounter. I cannot stop loving Aiden because just overall, I'm thinking he is just a kid that may amount to doing the things I would like to see in this world. And maybe, just maybe, one day we can have a Republican back that will want worse people to be free and not annihilated like in Gaza. So for that, I'm going to leave it here. We're going to go to read Dr. Parenti. All right. Now, yesterday we finished I think chapter 7. So today, back on the black shirts and reds, the rationalization of fascism and the overthrow of communism. What's so good about this book is basically my whole thing with my family is just play into some of this stuff. And that's what I really like about this book. It's really working really well for me. Now, I don't know when this play is going to end. It's going to end when it's going to end. But every day, I just cannot stop. I just have to keep going. Because again, if you remember the things I say, the personal is always the political for me. And everything within my life is basically connected to all this sort of thing that Dr. Parenti talks about in this book. So today we're gonna actually this is chapter 7. The free market paradise goes east. That's where we're gonna start. Free markets propagandists in the former communist countries claim that as capital was privatized and accumulated in a few hands, production will be stimulated and prosperity will be at hand. But first, there will be a difficult period, a quote-unquote difficult period to go through. The difficult period is proving to be far more severe and protracted than predicted. It may well be permanent condition of capitalist restoration. And that's true because if you remember, if you've been following me for a while on Facebook, you know we read the neoliberalism from extra books, right? And if you want to hear that, I can bring that video up, although on YouTube here. Although sometimes it's just hard. I mean, I can find it and bring it here, but everyone, if you really want, we can reread that, and I'll be happy to read it again. Not an issue, but it's true. There's the so-called free market. Whenever it goes to any country, it's just devastating. It just kills human being. It just annihilation of humans. In the case of Eastern Europeans, it was 17 million of them, and it's still struggling. It's not a good thing. It should not take place. The state should supposed to make sure people are taken care of, and these other things about capital and stuff should be not even considered, as far as I'm concerned. But I am a leftist and a communist, so that's how I think. All right, so now I don't know. Should we go to for vipers and blasters? All right, you know what? I'll just leave this here for today. We will. My baby daddy said my videos are long, and I don't know if people watch all of them. I want them to watch all of them. So I'll leave it here today. Tomorrow we will pick up on the same chapter for vipers and blood suckers. We'll pick that up. So we'll leave it here for today. Please like my videos. Please subscribe. I only have 1 subscriber yesterday. I have 14 subscribers. The 14 of you who subscribe to my channel do help me. I like that a lot. I appreciate that a lot. And I want more of you to subscribe, because I don't want YouTube to think that this is a spam and delete my shit, or because that's the excuse they're gonna use. They just don't like leftist ideas. They don't. They really want to wipe them off, just like they want to wipe out Cuba. So I want you to subscribe, so Facebook know that people, actually human beings, want to hear my family story, and I want that to stay on YouTube. Okay? And my husband also liked that a lot. He said, you share your stuff on Facebook, but I want you to be on YouTube. So actually, it's my husband. If you love my husband, if you care about my husband, do that for me. Okay? All right. So now we're going to leave you with another song. My favorite, Victor Haro, Manifesto. Okay? That's what we're going to play right now. And Free Palestine.
Yo no canto por cantar, ni por tener buena voz. Canto porque la guitarra tiene sentido y razón. Tiene corazón de tierra y alas de palomita. Es como el agua bendita, santigua glorias y penas. Aquí se encajó mi canto, como dijera Violeta. Guitarra trabajadora, con olor a primavera. Que no es guitarra de rico, ni cosa que se parezca. Mi canto es de los andamios para alcanzar las estrellas. Que el canto tiene sentido cuando palpiten las venas del que morirá cantando las lucas fugaces, ni las famas extranjeras, sino el canto de una lonja hasta el fondo de la tierra. Ahí donde llega todo y donde todo comienza, canto que ha sido valiente, siempre será canción nueva. Siempre será canción nueva. Siempre será canción nueva.
Que viva el sueño que te trajo aquí, que viva tu espíritu de superación, que viva el pequeño sueño que tuviste allá y que se hizo grande llegando acá. Porque no importa el tamaño de tus sueños tienen valor. Seguros Magnum, cotice hoy mismo.
Grainger knows that as the procurement coordinator at a manufacturing plant, you can count on auto reordering to have the PPE you need on hand. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just